Now, I'd like to call this a masterful play causing untold strife for the Democrats, but it may just be Ocasio-Cortez's fickle nature that she successfully pulled off a huge smack to the centrist, more moderate Democrats. Now, as many of you may know, the progressive Democrats do not like the moderate Democrats. It's basically an ongoing civil war. There's sometimes a tacit agreement on certain issues, but man, are they fighting. Well, Ocasio-Cortez calls impeachment boring, says she's so over it. I want to make sure I give you the full context of what she says, because she is in favor of impeachment. But the point is, she is essentially washing her hands of it, saying there are more important issues to be focused on. And this is so boring, and we need to focus on long-term issues. Do you know why this is such a master play in screwing over the Democrats? Nancy Pelosi resisted with all her might the impeachment inquiry. They still haven't voted on it. But it was only about 2 weeks ago that Ocasio-Cortez said Democrats' refusal to impeach Trump is a national scandal. I kid you not. And it was part of this pressure and this big press push that finally pushed Pelosi over the edge. And then within a week of Pelosi going, okay, we'll do it, Ocasio-Cortez goes, I'm bored. Let's do something else. And now Pelosi is stuck. AOC can do whatever she wants, but she just pulled Pelosi and the Democrats into the fray and then walked right out. Wow. Wow. That's amazing. She pulled Pelosi onto a sinking ship and jumped right off. Let's be real. Support for impeachment, according to the polls, has gone up, but it's still not the majority. And in swing districts and target districts for Republicans, they find impeachment to be unpopular. So this is an NRCC poll that found that in the districts they're targeting, 2/3 of people say they want to focus on issues. Well, now Cortez comes out and says we got to focus on the issues, thus leaving the Democrats on the sinking boat, unable to get off as she rides away into the sunset. Talk about sabotaging the Dems. Now look, I would like to say what a masterful play, but let's be real. It's just her being fickle and unpredictable and not thinking things through for the most part. But I will stress, okay, much respect. Absolutely. Much respect to AOC because I agree with her. I disagree with her on the issues. I agree with her on some. Like I am completely against private prisons for a lot of reasons. And we can talk about that. But the main issue is the Green New Deal is a bad idea. Her identitarianism, that's what she's talking about. Bad idea. But I'd love to discuss those ideas. I would love to challenge her. I would love to be here hearing her say something and rebutting that. That's healthy discourse to an extent. I do not want to sit here and talk about scandals and Russiagate 2, Ukrainian Boogaloo. I'm sorry. I'm over it. Please. So absolutely, AOC, I agree with you. Much respect. Look, there have been several times I've given her praise. So don't act like I only ever smear her and insult her. When she worked with Ted Cruz on the gun thing and the lobbying, not the gun thing, sorry, the lobbying thing, I absolutely said much respect. There have been many circumstances where she's done things I agree with. And when she does, I will say it. When she called out big tech surveillance, when Elizabeth Warren did, I'm not here to play tribes. I'm here to call out what I think makes sense. It makes sense for her to say impeachment is boring and she's over it. We got to focus on policy and other issues. And I'm like, I agree. I assure you, when you present most of those ideas, I will not agree with you on those, but I absolutely agree that you should present them, and that's what we should be talking about. So bravo. At the very least, I could say that Ocasio-Cortez finally realized what was really important, not this stupid scandal nonsense. But I want to give you the full context. She is in favor of impeachment. She's just saying she's going to focus on other things. From the National Review, AOC calls impeachment boring, says she's over it. They say Rep. AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, told supporters during the town hall in Queens on Thursday that impeachment proceedings against President Trump were boring and distracted from the goal of social and economic and racial justice in the United States of America. He should have been impeached a long time ago. I'm over it. And so that's how I feel about it, because we've got work to do. She said before going on to argue that impeachment of this president is the short-term action we need to preserve our democracy. But if we are really going to thrive as a country, we need to make long-term investments. Okay, let me stop. Immediately, for some reason, people on the left started getting mad at me because I pointed this out on Twitter. They're like, oh, I'm being disingenuous. Of course she supports impeachment. And I'm like, dude, are you reading this? Listen, of course she supports impeachment. They all do. She's focusing on other things. That was the point of her statement. Of course she supports impeachment. What I'm trying to say is, If she's going to come out and make a statement and fight for impeachment, okay, she's not. She agrees with it, and she wants to focus on other things. She wants to focus on social and economic and racial justice in the United States. I completely agree with that sentence. I, too, want to focus on social and economic and racial justice in the United States. I just fundamentally disagree with her ideology on how to get there. I believe racial justice is when we have equality of opportunity, not outcome. I believe that social and economic justice are extremely important, and while we may never be able to regulate into perfect equality, I do believe we should focus on justice, period. Hey, great. So when you come out and say something like, I don't know, Harvard should be allowed to discriminate against Asians, well, I believe you are acting against racial justice, and I will argue that with you. But that's important, right? Because she thinks a thing. She shares that idea and people believe her. I think a different thing. I share my ideas and people believe me. And our ideas fight. Okay, not us. Like our ideas go head to head. Which idea is better? Well, you know what idea doesn't make sense? Impeaching Trump. It's unpopular. It's riddled with political partisanship and opinion and nonsense. And it's just Russiagate 2, Ukrainian Boogaloo, man. I am not interested in a sequel. I do not want to hear it. Sorry, I don't care who the new villain is this time. It's going to be the same tropes, the same arc. Not playing. Not playing. But now we have this. After finally convincing the moderate Democrats to get on board, she says we should be focusing on long-term solutions. So even if she's still gonna, vote for it, which she probably will, she's passed the buck to them and walked away. If she's gonna come out and say this is a national scandal, the Democrats won't do this. She was taking a front and center position in the media. Her story is picked up by everybody. She was asked about it several times. Look at this tweet: 232,000 likes. At this point, the bigger national scandal isn't the president's law-breaking behavior. It is the Democratic Party's refusal to impeach him for it. To then go 2 weeks later and say, I'm bored. I'm over it. That's a big kick in the gut to the Democrats. Hands down. Because, she asserted herself as a leader and then walked away. She said so Ocasio-Cortez, who has long been an advocate for impeaching the president, also pushed back against allegations of misconduct by Adam Schiff, who apparently learned the whistleblower complaint before it was filed. Now she's defended him, and I don't care about this. And then they go on to talk about the stuff from my main channel about the fake Trump supporter and the weird message. It was a hoax. It was a hoax. So let me make a point about her intelligence. I do not believe AOC has below average intelligence. I think she's fairly average. Okay, I don't think she's, to be completely candid, I don't think she's stupid. I think she has bad ideas. I think she needs to spend more time doing research. I think she has a lot of people whispering in her ear. I think she's fickle. I think she's young. I think she's ignorant. I agree with her on many things, whether it's because a broken clock is right 2 times a day or it's because she really understands why certain things make sense. The point is, this probably wasn't on purpose, but it could be. I've called her mini Trump. She's very much like him. She knows how to play the social media game. She knows how to rope the press into doing what she wants, and she can get away with whatever she wants. Much like Trump. So actually, let me do this. She gets the Democrats to fall in line because of the press. So does Trump. You see, they know how to play the press. Whether AOC realizes it or not, she's like a pseudo mini Trump who does similar things, whether she recognizes how much she's like him. She makes hyperbolic statements. She says nonsensical, outrageous things, much like Trump. She is the Democrats' answer to Trump. She is widely popular among the far left base. She has millions of followers. She's not nearly as big as Trump is. He's the president for sure. But as I said, mini. She's like a tiny version. And she uses similar tactics. So now look, Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks said he was going to tear out the establishment Democrats from the core. He was going to attack them to their core and go after them. And he helped support AOC. And that's why when I look at this, whether it's intentional or not, they're following through. This is bad for the mainstream Dems. Nancy Pelosi finally gets pulled into it, unpopular. It's going to hurt them in Republican target districts, and she can't back out now. She made that national announcement. Is there going to be a vote? We'll see. There's been no vote so far. But AOC can do whatever she wants. She's not the Speaker of the House. She can say, I changed my mind. Yeah, whatever, and walk right away. And then you know what else she can do? She can say, I realized the issues were more important, and the people wanted us to focus on policy. And what can Pelosi say? I changed my mind too? No, sorry. You roped everybody into this. And now it's on track. So, whether it's AOC or Trump, they know how to use social media to force this, right? Look at this tweet. 232,000 likes. That's huge. And that's shocking for me to then see her come out and be like, later. But yeah, whatever. I don't know. Let me know what you think. A lot of people, comment. Let me know what you think if you're listening on YouTube, whether it was intentional or not. Because I'd much more prefer to be like, she pulled a fast one on the Democrats, but it was probably just her being fickle and young, I guess, whatever. Stick around, I got a couple more segments coming up for you in a few minutes, and I will see you all shortly.